back on my bullshit with the desk. Okay, Naomi. I'm
Oh,
constantly on my bullshit with the desk.
what
So
did I send you the desk that I bought? Did I send you that?
yes, but it's not
Okay.
big enough. And
Jesus. Okay.
I don't really care so much about the standing stuff.
Oh,
So,
okay, like I do, because I stand a lot
I
where I'm
mean, I'm
working.
curious about it, but then I'm like, do you really need it? No, you don't. So I've decided, so I need a desk that's at least like 72 inches long.
This comes 73 inches. I just got the 60 because of my space, but it comes out to 73. That's the
Because I
longest
wanted
one.
to go, and I think I can go a little longer than that. I need to figure out what this exact, like both these desks together, because I want to go in front of this double window, which is where I sit. But
Mm,
right now I have two desks next to each other, which means I basically just don't use one of the desks because I'm always over here, and then shit piles up on the other side. So I
okay.
want to be able to like sit in the middle and have a monitor and my laptop together, and then that'll be easier for streaming because I can put my game on a separate monitor. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what we're working on, and then one day I'll get an actual gaming PC so that I
Yeah.
can play The Sims.
I love it. I love it.
But that's what we're working on. So we were going back and forth about this. Jesus and I had like, I keep building carts and then not buying things. um you know how you do, we were like
That's
working
what you
out
do.
an
It's like,
idea.
you're customizing your cart to see like what's gonna work, and then like
Yeah,
you
they're like,
tear it all down, you throw it,
nah.
and then you start over again. Mm-hmm.
So what I really want is like a 27-inch curved monitor.
Mm-hmm.
uh and I was gonna get like just like kind of like a regular ass monitor, and then he's like, no, you need to get 4K, and I'm like, fine. And now I'm looking at 4K ones, and they're like $700, and I'm like, Jesus, because
Have
they're
you
curved.
looked at the Scepter brand monitors?
Well, the monitors are just early days, so I will look at any. So if anybody has any recommendations for 27-inch curved monitors that are in 4K, let me know. Because I need to see those Sims in high freaking
Oh
definition.
my goodness. Good gracious
um,
alive.
but yeah, so that's what we're kind of going for. And I found like an arm mount where I can put my laptop on one, and for now, and put that on the
Mm-hmm.
other. So that'll that'll work eventually. So that's the general plan.
Yeah.
Originally, Jesus said get the monitor first and then figure out your setup. And I said, no, 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 we're gonna get the desk first. First of all, because the desk I can get for under
That's
200, and
mm-hmm.
then I can start working out where all, because like you have so many for recording. I have so many booms and arms and things.
Right.
I have four of them just for lights and camera, and I almost said
Yeah.
action, and the microphone.
It's a lot trying to figure out your layout. Like I found this C-clamp boom thing where I can put my lights on it, my mic on it, but now I'm not gonna put my mic on it because I got this low profile mic stand, which is amazing. But like I put my webcam on it and other stuff on it, and then like everything is off the desk then, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try that one out. Because I was just searching high and low on Amazon for something where I could just put everything on one piece of equipment.
Well, I found a boom that I can do perpendicularly off of one of my other booms, so that I don't have to have one of
Mm-hmm.
these like elbowy ones for the camera
Yeah,
piece, which I think I might do to like cut down how many things are clamped on the back of my
yeah.
desk. But I'm back on my bullshit, is what I'm telling you, Amy. Is that I'm back on my
Yeah,
bullshit.
when I tell you what, I am in love with this low profile mic arm. It is the best because also too when I'm not using it, like it just collapses, it just folds, and then it's like out of the way.
My mic
So
doesn't bother
it's
me. My
great.
mic is fine. It like folds up
I know
nicely.
I'm
It
the one that
goes to
had
the
the
back.
hitting the mic
Oh,
issues.
your mic was terrible. Like that
Yeah,
whole
it's
setup was
always hitting
awful.
it. Yeah,
Go back to season ones and ones and twos.
yeah, yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
experience the joy of Naomi's microphone.
Have fun, have fun.
Growing
Anyway,
pains. It's all right.
welcome back,
Welcome back.
folks.
Welcome
The
back.
TBR
Welcome back.
Lowdown. We're having one of our
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
quasi mega sessions. We just finished a live where we discussed Greek lessons. I believe that was for our May June
Sure.
reading schedule, I believe. So we're kind of catching up on our discussions for our reads there. So hop on over to our channel, or if you'd like to listen only, check out that conversation and let us know if you've read Greek lessons.
Yeah. And tell us how you felt about it.
Yes.
So, what have you been reading, or what did you recently finish?
Well, this is another one where I'm going to have to read you the back of the flag because I just started it and it's too early for me to tell you what it's about because I'm not one of those people who likes to know a whole lot before I start reading. But it
That's
is A
fair.
House for Alice by Diana Evans. Thank you, Pathion, for sending this to me. I believe this I believe this is out now. Yes, this is out now. But I'll just read like the first paragraph. It says, in the early hours of June 14th, 2017, the world watches as flames leap up the sides of a residential high rise in West London, consuming Greenfell Tower and many of the lives within it. Across town, an earlier spark has caught fire, a cigarette left burning in an ashtray, a table strewn with posted reminders and old newspapers, and one Cornelius Winston Pitt, a strange husband, complicated dad, and Pitt family patriarch, takes his final breaths. This is a sweeping and gorgeously rendered exploration of home and yearning, following the fracturing of a family upon the demise of its patriarch. So that is A
Interesting.
House for Alice by Diana Evans. I've never heard of this author, but we'll see. I think I can finish this week. This is really really short. It's like 342 pages, but the font is really big, so this is definitely something I can finish this week. So I'll let you all know how that goes.
Excellent. I probably should have charged my headphones. They just beeped at me. Anyway,
Oh
that's
no.
fine. So, I was just telling Naomi about some car things I got fixed.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, I am reading a book called Solenoid,
Oh my
which
gosh.
is the part that I got fixed in my car. But
Mhm.
so this is translated from Romanian. I'm through part one. I'm reading it quite slowly, but I'm really enjoying it. I am not going to be able to say this author's name, unfortunately. If I try, it's going to be horrendous.
Yeah.
And I think we're attempting to, with the group of us that are buddy reading it, I think we're attempting to set up a Zoom call with the translator to talk with him
Mhm.
about it. And anyway, so this is a really interesting book that keeps making me. It's a very trippy book. It's a very literary book. It keeps making me think about the book Stoner, which, if you've never
Mhm.
read John Williams Stoner, that book is very quiet and deceptively good. But it keeps making me think about that in the sense that um, this follows a man and his sort of journal entries. They're sort of rambling entries
Yeah.
um, about life and a lot about being a writer and about how he wanted to be a writer, but also not about how he wanted to be a writer, but how he wanted to be a writer um, and didn't become one. And it's sort of like the author writing a story about himself in an alternate universe where he didn't become a writer, but it's
Mhm.
also incredibly trippy and weird. There's a scene where they're like in some sort of warehouse and he's on the roof with somebody and he realizes that they got to the roof, but this other person is actually just like his whole torso is like 3 stories high and is winding its way
Mhm.
up the stairs. And so it's very trippy, it's very weird, but it's also very like philosophical and poignant, and it's been a very interesting journey so far, and I'm surprised at how much I like it
Yeah.
because it starts with him like sitting in the bathtub, like navel gazing as an old man, and right off the bat for me, that's not a very like
Mhm.
enticing beginning, but it does keep going and it is really really good. And I I have heard a lot of really amazing reviews about it, and everybody
Yeah.
who's reading it with me is really loving it. It's like a shockingly good book. Like you just didn't expect yourself to like it this much.
Yeah. Yeah. It was what's his booktube is Traveling Through Stories. That is how I know about that book. But I'm in um I'm in a new Discord and Patreon group, and some of us are going to be reading Solenoid together in December. So I'm looking
Yeah, so
forward
it
to
says
that.
solenoid ruminates on the exchanges possible between the alternate dimensions of life and art as various monstrous dimensions erupt within the communist present. And the reason why I keep thinking about Stoner, especially in the beginning of this, is that
Hmm.
like that is about a man who is basically unremarkable, and this
Yeah.
is like a man who is unremarkable, but he's in this like weird third dimension, like trippy like book. So it's like it just keeps making me think back to that story and kind of how simple that is as a
Interesting.
concept to start this book on, to start a write center a book all around a very unremarkable
Yeah.
person who doesn't do very much in their lives, like a very common person. um
Hmm.
and this is definitely got that as like a little something something, but like
Yeah,
there's a hell of a lot more going on. It's very trippy. It's very good. It's very well
I
written.
love that. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I do need a physical copy of it. I want a physical copy. But
Yeah.
I have it on the old Kindle.
Ye old Kindle. Ye old.
I was at the
Awesome.
Ren Fair yesterday. Yeah,
Yes, you were. You were. Did you guys dress up?
of
I
course we
love
did.
it. I love it.
I'm not like a fan of my dress. So I was a little annoyed with the Ren Fair this year. We talked about that a little bit, but that was mostly because like we went late in the day. It wasn't like our normal spiel. But
Right.
it was a little disappointing in the sense that like in our CJ lead discussion, we talked about how I wanted to get a long sword.
Yes. Did you?
And no, because I was very disappointed in the options because we usually
Oh.
go first
Hmm.
weekend and this is I don't know, fourth or fifth weekend. And it seems rather picked over. And
Hmm.
like the ones that I like kind of liked, I didn't like them. I mean, I know that's going to cost me like $500 or $600 to buy a longsword, right? But
Right.
I didn't like any of them enough to spend $500 or $600 on them, right? So I ended
Yikes.
up with like
Okay.
a I have a very tiny little like oh I can't remember what you call it, but it's basically like a little Scottish, you wear it in your sock knife.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a very little stabby knife, but
Yeah.
it's cute. It's got a thistle on it. I like it.
Okay.
It's actually like a knife as opposed to most of the things you get. They haven't honed the blade. It's you could make it sharp and all that, but um
Hmm.
yeah. But maybe so
Wow.
next year maybe we'll figure that out.
Yeah. I guess this whole time when you were talking about, wanted a long sword, I was like, oh, it's probably like $100 or so.
No, they're
I didn't
very
know it was gonna
expensive.
be multiple hundreds. So
Yeah,
okay.
it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I got a treadmill instead. It's
Hey, that works for me.
yeah.
That works for me.
So next year,
Wow.
and I do want to work on the outfit some more. I want like a better corset
Mm-hmm.
so the girls are more supported.
Right.
Um, yeah, but we'll get there.
Yeah, yeah.
We
I
have
love
fun.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, today we are going to share some books that we think will be great to read during
But
the
first, we're going to.
fall. Oh, first we're going to do what? What do we
Oh,
do?
we did talk about that. Oh my God, I'm exhausted.
What were you going to say?
First, we need to talk about the books we're currently reading.
Oh, this is hilarious. That's hilarious.
Sleep deprivation is real.
We did that. Yes, it's fine. So now,
Anyway, Naomi, would you like to restart your introduction to this episode? For
sure.
the
All right.
podcast that's going to be much cleaner and less
Listen. All right.
Alyssa needs a new brain.
It's all good. It's good. So, yes, today we are going to be sharing with you some books that we think will be great to read for the fall season. So, Alyssa's having a moment. Shall I kick it off or do you want to kick it
Yes.
off? Okay, I'm going to kick it off with one of my absolute favorites. It's such a favorite that whenever I see an edition that I don't have, I pick it up. And that is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. Got
I
two
still need to read that.
beautiful. Oh,
I
it's
do
so
own it.
great. It's so wonderful. So I haven't read this in a while, but now that I'm like looking at these books, I kind of want to read it again. So it is about two, are they cousins? I think they're cousins, two cousins. Let's see, Joe Cavalier, he is like an escape artist, and he just smuggled himself out of a preoccupied Prague, and he hooks up with his cousin Sammy, who is in Brooklyn, and Sammy wants to create like these superheroes, so they get together and they start making all of these comic books, and it's a really interesting read about like them learning how the industry works, them building up their team of like artists and other collaborators to make these things happen, looking at how they're looking at other competition and trying to like make something better. And there's of course a little love story involved in there too, some family issues, but it's like really watching these folks really try to grind and figure out how to make the best comics, in the world, and those struggles that come along with it, and also a lot of the excitement. It's a great story, and just seeing someone create something to have it come to fruition was really wonderful. It's a very exciting story in my opinion, and it feels very adventurous. And I think I want to read this again. So whenever you read it, Alyssa, let me know. I'll read it with you.
You got it.
So anyway, this did win the Pulitzer. I don't know what year it did, but again, that's The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon.
Excellent.
Give it a read.
All right. I have a very predictable and repetitive list, but they're worth reading. So if you've never read them, it's time. It's time, my friends. We'll start with a TBR Lowdown favorite, Mayfly by CJ Lead.
Jackpot.
Please read this. We have an entire interview with the author. This is just disgusting and fun and funny and Halloween themed, and it is,
Mm-hmm.
dare I say, sardonic. It is fantastic. I love this book
Yeah.
so much. It follows our Earl Maeve, who is living with her grandmother. They both have a beast within them that her grandmother teaches her how to tame. That beast may or may not come out in the form of murderous rage. And Maeve is also a Disney like, but not Disney princess who takes you through like seedy dive bars in LA and uh, loves Halloween and Halloween music. She has a wonderful uh, romance with a hockey player named Gideon, who is,
Mm-hmm.
dare I say, very attractive, but also probably you will be questioning yourself often
Absolutely.
on finding him attractive. Um, yeah, so like this is for your horror girlies, your dark romance girlies, I think would enjoy this. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good book. Just read it. If you've read The Story of the Eye, it is sort of based on that or inspired by that, I should say. And it's better in my humble opinion because this has a
Yeah.
story and people you can actually relate to and not just a whole lot of golden showers. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. It
it
is
is really
certainly a must
fantastic.
read.
Yeah.
Okay. My next one is Real Life by Brandon Taylor. Like seriously though, just read everything by Brandon Taylor. Okay, read Filthy Animals, read The Late Americans, but I'm just going to talk about his first novel, which is Real Life. I think he's a phenomenal writer. In real life, we are with Wallace, and he's in grad school at Michigan State, Midwestern University. And this is such the way, because all these books are about grad school, right? And these experiences. And I think he does such a phenomenal job in writing about that experience. But Wallace is he a biochem major? He's doing something in that realm. And he's introverted. He's run away from his family. You don't find out until like later on what's really going on with him. But he's very much to himself. And although he has this core group of cohorts that he's with, on a regular basis. They've bonded over being in grad school and being in the same program. He's still very standoffish and very much not open to anyone, like into letting anyone in. And you're wondering the whole time, what is it that's keeping him from really having true friendships? What's keeping him from really letting people in to see the real him? And you do find out later. And it is one of those books where you were just reading these passages and you were just dying on the inside. One, because of how beautifully written it is, but also how like passionately it's written, and the heartbreaking things that Wallace experienced really explains everything that you read in the beginning of the book, and how he relates to his classmates, how he relates to some of his queer lovers. And it is an extraordinary read, and I highly recommend it. And that is Real Life by Brandon Taylor. But again, just read all of his books, okay? Just read them all in publication order. So there you have it.
I do need to try him at some point. Never read any Brandon Taylor, but
I love him.
I like that we took two different directions in this brief, and I think that that's good for our readers
Uh-oh.
because like mine are all like spooky shit, and you're like, I just have things that are nice to read in fall. You're like the pumpkin spice latte to my, like, I don't know, haunted house.
But here's the thing, right? Okay, because fall is these two things. Fall is for the spooky reads, but also fall is when most of the releases are from our like big hitter authors, you know.
Yeah,
So
I
it is a
know.
combination of both.
It's
See?
true.
Yeah,
You're the
boom
best.
and boom.
So I have from my wonderful obsession, and I don't own this one, but one day I will. T. Kingfisher, a house.
Mm,
Whoop, I always like want to show it to you on like a monitor, but that's not where I go. A house with good
right.
bones. I do have a whole review with this on the channel, but I really, really, really think this is fun. One of my favorite things about T. Kingfisher, there's a lot of favorite things, is that they have this really fantastic ability of mixing in humor with things, which makes the parts that actually are kind of scary, like less scary. But there is
Mm,
also, you know, commentary that's going on in here too, but it is also just a fun ride. So you can read it on a surface level. You can pick up on some other things that T. Fisher is maybe commenting on. And there's always like a feminist bent, which I really enjoy, and not in like an annoying way. Like it's
yeah.
just good. Like you're just like, yeah, you go. But anyway, so this is a Southern Gothic story. It's like a twist on sort of like a haunted house kind of thing. It says, Mom seems off. Her brother's words echo into Sam Montgomery's ear as she turns onto the quiet North Carolina street where her mother lives alone. She brushes that thought away as she climbs the front steps. Sam's excited for this rare extended visit and looking forward to nights with just the two of them, drinking boxed wine, watching murder mystery shows, and guessing who the killer is long before the characters figure it out. But stepping inside, she quickly realizes the home isn't what it used to be. Gone is the warm, cluttered charm of her mom is known for. Now the walls are painted a sterile white. Her mom jumps at the smallest noises and looks over her shoulder, even when she's the only person in the room. And when Sam steps back to clear her head, she finds a jar of teeth hidden beneath the magazine worthy rose bushes and vultures circling the garden from above. To find out what's got her mom so frightened in her own home, Sam will go digging for the truth, but some secrets are better left buried. It is so much fun. There's some
Hmm.
really good characters in here. There's like a guy that is um, like kind of like the conspiracy theorist trailer park guy. There's a very friendly, like, handyman kind of gardener guy. There's his
Interesting.
neighbor that her grandma had some sort of
Yeah.
rivalry with. I can't say those two words next to each other. Rivalry with.
With
Um,
yes.
and she runs a vulture sanctuary. So there's all these vultures around, which make it super creepy. Like she's be like driving up to the house and there's just a vulture sitting on her mailbox looking at her.
Hmm.
That's creepy. Um,
Yeah.
and there's the grandma sounds like a real piece of work. It is a good time. And once you get to like the more like haunting latter, second half parts of the book, once you kind of start to know what's going on, it really has
Yeah.
a pace that's kind of fun and quick, and it's just I enjoyed it. It's a good time. Sam might not
Okay.
be everybody's cup of tea though, because you were in her head, and I think
Mm-hmm.
she's hilarious, and I can see how some people might find her annoying. I found her hilarious. I would be her friend. I like her.
Interesting. I keep wondering, is T. Kingfisher someone I want to try reading or not?
Yes.
I don't know. Okay. I'll take your word for it.
But
Okay.
I also don't know with you because you don't like anything cozy, and there is like this element of something cozy about T. Kingfisher that it's not cozy in like a Legends and Lattes, like very strictly cozy way, but there's just something almost like comforting about reading T. Kingfisher, even when there's like crazy stuff going on. You just feel like I think it's the mix of humor and all of that.
Yeah.
You feel cozy. You feel like you're like with a friend. I don't know. There's
I
something
mean,
about T. Kingfisher.
I feel cozy when I read any of these books out of A Song of Ice and Fire. I do.
Incest makes you feel cozy.
And so does murder. So, all right. My next one is I had quite a few hits from Women of Translation Month, and this was another one. This is How to Love Your Daughter by Hyla Bloom, and it's translated from the Hebrew by Daniela Zamir. And the moment I saw Riverhead talk about this book and their stories, I was like, oh, I need to get this immediately. So luckily, my local bookstore, Solid State Books, had some in
I
stock, and I grabbed it so that I was totally ready for Women in Translation Month, which is August. Why do you look just
I
so
thought
shocked?
you were gonna tell me that you finally got a book from Riverside.
I have gotten books from Riverhead.
Or Riverhead, sorry, Riverside.
I've
Where did that
gotten
come from?
probably almost whenever I ask for one, they send me the book.
No, Riverhead's like you are beneath us.
But see the thing, because sorry, first we got to veer off for just a second. I know a lot of you always ask about arcs and stuff. While most publishers will send you quarterly emails with basically the catalog for the next 3 months for you to choose what you
They
want,
sent an email too.
I don't get the but it just goes to that little. It's different though. It's usually in their stories.
Oh, even when I go to the stories, they don't. I'm not Riverside. Riverside. I keep calling it the Riverside. Maybe that's why people keep
Riverhead.
calling it the Riverside.
Look, I am not on the special. I'm on the regular Riverhead. Now I just got confused with Riverhead. I'm on the regular Riverhead,
Don't go
pool
by
of
me. I
people.
don't know what's happening.
Like I'm not in the pool of people where Riverhead sends promo boxes, but they will
I,
send me a book.
I'm not even in. I don't even think I can get an e-arc.
I don't know. I don't know. I hear that. I don't know. But I don't request a lot from them. You
Neither
know.
do I. I just throw my hat in the ring every so often when I'm
Yeah,
like,
every
I
so
really do
often.
want to read this, and let's just see if today's the day. It's never the day.
Yeah,
It's
but
never the
like so,
day.
whenever the email went out about this, I miss most of them. I miss most of them. So one of my new things is if it's a new book that I want to buy, like I choose to get it from Solid State Books, which is in the Black independently owned bookstore in DC. They are lovely over there, so that's where I've been choosing to spend my money when I buy US based new books. So I picked that up. How to Love Your Daughter is phenomenal. We open the book with Yoella, who is recounting when she was looking at her grandchildren, kind of at a far from a distance. And that was just the opening. And then as the book continues on, it's Yoella basically recounting all of these memories of when she was raising her daughter, whom she just loves so much. That daughter is doted on. She is she loves being a mother. But while you're reading it, there is somewhat of a I don't know, there's sadness that's just like lingering through those pages, but you don't quite know why because nothing has been revealed to make you think there's a reason to be sad, but it feels very sad, like someone is thinking back on memories in the most heartbreaking way. And then as we move further on, she makes some really stark statements in regards to how she feels about the daughter when this daughter hits a certain point, and then you go, uh-oh, what's going on here? And then we later learn that she's actually estranged from her daughter. And now
Um,
we're getting with Yoella, she's recounting all of these memories because she's trying to figure out where did it all go wrong. She did and she does really love her daughter. So what did she do that will make her daughter want to basically flee from her? She's never met her grandchildren. She's not a part of her daughter's life at all. So she's trying to figure out through these memories, where did it go wrong? And that's this whole book. And it was just like gut wrenching and heartbreaking and just like so eye opening and also so well written. I just soaked this book up. Highly recommended. How to Love Your Daughter by Hyla Bloom, translated from the Hebrew by Daniela Zamir.
I love the cover.
It's great, right?
Yeah, you see
It's
like a lot of pain.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was like in the presence of some sort of royalty, and I guess I am. You get Riverhead books. Um.
I'm
Anyway,
not royalty until they start sending me promo packages, okay? Okay? Yeah.
ah, maybe one day.
Maybe. Maybe.
I'm just happy that I get Charco Press books.
That is like a dream. I never thought I'd get there.
The
Never.
fact that I can get a Claudio Pinheiro.
Right.
before it comes out
I know
and
that
read
was
it.
like being on their list is
Can
a
I just tell you,
true
I
dream.
think about that book every freaking day. I think about A Little Luck every day. And when
Mm,
my Waze gives me my little chimey chime every time there's a railroad track,
don't tell me I did not get around to reading it in August, but I'm hoping
now
to. I know I was.
read it
I'm
so
in
I can
like
talk freely.
oh, you know I will. You know I will.
Okay. Anyway, back to the spooky books. It's another TBR Lowdown favorite. These Violent Delights.
Yes. Yes.
Not the young adult one.
Yeah.
The
No, not
Micah
that one.
Nemerev. There's a lot of
Yes.
that's hard for my mouth. My mouth can't do that.
Hmm.
This book is Be Gay, Do Crimes.
Yeah.
Read it. No.
That book is fantastic.
This follows Paul. He is going to school in the 70s in college, and he's like insecure. He ends up meeting this man, Julian, and there's this very obsessive relationship that comes about through this. Julian is like rich and disturbed, and um, it is incredibly codependent. It is incredibly screwed up. It is dark academia at its finest. Please read this book. It is so freaking good.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think the fact that it is a title that is very similar to several other titles makes this kind of get lost in the mix, but
Yeah.
so good. So
Yeah.
worth a read. Not a very long description here for you, but I love it. Yo, it's actually blurbed by Brendan Taylor. Brandon
Ah.
Taylor. Did you know that?
Well, look at there. No, because I don't read blurbs.
I just happened to see it. A thrilling first novel. Brandon
We agree,
Taylor.
Brandon. We agree. We agree.
I wonder if they've written anything else.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it was weird. Like I was just in the library one day, just perusing the shelves, and I was like, "Ah, what's this?" And I checked it out and read it, and I was like, "Wow, no one's talking about this, but and why not?
It's so good. Please
It's
read.
so good."
Yeah. Anyway, keep
Okay.
going.
Oh, I
What
just
else you got?
realized both of these are Riverhead, the Brandon Taylor and the
You mean
Halloween.
Riverside?
Stop it.
This is why they don't send me bucks.
All right, my next one is Las Madres by Esmeralda Santiago, and thank you, Kanoff, for this book. This was really, really good. Let me see if I can break this down. So, um, oh, best-selling author of When I Was Puerto Rican.
Yes, I have
Wait,
when I was Puerto Rican, but
hang
I
on, is
don't
she
have.
the author that did like a memoir as a trilogy? Is she the one that did something like that?
I think so.
I may have to get that because I
I think
really
I have
enjoyed
when I
this
was Puerto
writing.
Rican.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read more from her because I really enjoy how this was written. So the first part of the book, we're with a 15-year-old. Her name is Luce, and she is in this dance academy where she is, the only, black child in a group of very petite, light-skinned, delicate young ladies, and she is the daughter of two scientists. So she is very well off, has very prominent parents, and she wants to be a dancer, and she's working extremely hard to do so. And unfortunately, she is in a car accident with her parents, and she is the only survivor. So now she is orphaned. But even more horrific than that is the fact that she's been left with some brain damage. So she cannot remember much. So memory is a big thing for her, but she has this thing where she kind of goes into some sort of a trance-like state when she's flooded with certain memories, but then when she comes out of it, she really can't remember what it was. And so she's really struggling. Obviously, is not dancing because she's been injured so badly. And later on in the book, we are with Luce's adult daughter who was trying so desperately to connect with her mother. There are so many things that she wants to know, but she can't know them because her mother cannot remember anything.
Hmm.
And so the daughter and this group of women, they call themselves Las Madres, they kind of go away on a little vacation, if you will. And they're hoping that it will help Luce to like regain some of her memory so that she can have a deeper connection with her daughter, so that this daughter can get some of those questions answered. and they're in a horrific hurricane, and through this whole time they're away, tensions are just at the highest level, and some really surprising family secrets come out that just turn everything on its head. And that's all I'm going to say about that. This was a fantastic book, Los Madres by Esmeralda Santiago, and this is out now. I loved it. I want to read more from her.
I've heard really good things about that book.
Yeah, I do think you would like it a great deal. Hmm.
Probably. There's
Yeah,
dance in it. I definitely like it.
yeah.
All right, more TBR Lowdown approved books for the spooky season. A book we will never stop recommending.
I feel like I want to guess what it is.
The Historian.
Yes. I've
I told you
somehow
this is
read
a
that book
very
every year. I have
this
a
is a
ritual now.
this is a very predictable list. I told you, but these are like my kind of you musts, right?
Listen, people, she's not wrong. You must read this.
Book's so good. Now, if you don't like a slowly unraveling story, not going to be your cup of tea. However, if you do like like a slowly unraveling story that's delicious and dark and like
Mm,
does make you kind of like peek over your shoulder sometimes where you're like
mm-hmm.
and questioning reality because it does make you be like, wait, is this real? Like, is this the true origin of Vlad the Impaler? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So this follows a daughter and her father in separate timelines. There is this sort of order, do you want to call it, of people
Mm-hmm. Yes.
that um, uh, are kind of like know the truth of Vlad the Impaler and Dracula and the origins of all that. And when you sort of enter into it, it's sort of like getting a death sentence. The daughter is sort of following her father, and you're in trying to figure out what kind of happened to him, the story of their lives, the story of her mother that's wrapped up in all of this. And you're following the father and the mother sort of in real time, going through and trying to figure out who Vlad the Impaler really is. The ending is very good. It is so well done.
Mm-hmm.
The writing is beautiful. It's a masterpiece,
Yes, it is.
and I
Yes,
think,
it
recommend
is.
it every year. So
Yes.
you must read this.
Yes. I have been reading it every year. And that's another book that I'm always thinking about. I love that book.
Mm-hmm.
And I purposely read it very slow because I never want to leave it. So I
Mm-hmm.
purposely read it so slowly. Just I start in October, like on the first, and I just read like a little bit each day because like I just want to be in that story forever. And I
Mm-hmm.
purposely take my time and just, oh, it's the best. It is
And
the
I
best.
will tell you, for my audiobook fiends, this audiobook is stellar too. The accents, the
Yeah.
way it's put together. It's so good. I think about
Yeah.
it all the time. It is such like a quintessential fall read
Mm-hmm.
for us. Um and some of you as well. So please
Yeah.
read this if you somehow haven't read it after us telling you every year to read this book.
Yeah. I mean, please just give it a chance.
But
You know.
it's so like it's got the gothic quality
Yeah.
where you nothing I mean bad things do happen, but like
Mhm.
it's not like Mayfly, which is a lot more like splatterpunk like
Yeah.
than it is gothic. This is atmospheric and just it's so good. You're waiting for so
It's
much doom.
You really are. It is just so wonderful. Oh, and speaking of her, I need to read her other two books that I own.
We say this every year when we talk about
But
the
I'm doing
historian.
it. I'm doing it. What are they? The
Uh,
Shadowland and Swan's Thieves.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's happening this year. Hmm.
Yeah.
That's happening next month. I don't know. I may start this month. I may start like Shadowland this month, but the Historian is just chef's kiss all the way,
So good.
all the way. All right, this is my last one, and this was another just a standout read for me. I finished this one actually last week, and this is Wellness by Nathan Hill. Thank you so much, Kanoff. Kanoff, you know what? Kanoff, you and I are really in a special tango with one another. We are just having that tango dance, and I am just in love. You all put out some books that are just right up my alley, like just knocking it out the park every time. So Wellness by Nathan Hill. This is a really it's a chunker, and it's a big story. I don't know if I can touch on everything, but I'll try to give you the gist. So this is about Elizabeth and Jack in their marriage. And we start off when they are young and kind of admiring each other from a distance, a kind of like a love at first sight kind of thing. And they get together and get married and have their first child. And we're in the beginning of their marriage where things are, very light and very fluffy in some ways, but we begin to see where they're struggling. Um, Jack does not make great financial decisions. He's actually made quite a risky investment decision for the both of them that could end up being just a horrific turn of events, and I won't tell how that goes. And Elizabeth is really struggling with their son. She's not a scientist, but she's some sort of a researcher, and so she reads all kinds of research related to, raising children, what children eat. And she relies on this research so heavily that if what this research concludes, if she doesn't get that exact same conclusion with how she's dealing with her child, it just sends her off in a tizzy. And she goes through these moments that are like pages long where she's like citing all this research and citing what should have happened, but she's completely frustrated because it didn't happen the way that it should have based on the research. And she's in just cycle of despair with parenting. She is having the hardest time. And as we go through the book, we also get the individual stories of Elizabeth and Jack and what it was like growing up. And what this book shows a really realistic view of what it's like when two people get married who have not dealt with their childhood crap. And it shows how when those childhood traumas and those horrible experiences are not resolved, it shows how that translate in how you rely on your partner, and the expectations you have for your partner to like fill those gaps and holes, or maybe that emptiness that you have in yourself that will never like heal from your childhood. And I think if I were to choose two words about this entire book, it's about hard truths, you
Mhm.
know, hard truths. And so you see their whole journey of meeting, falling in love, getting married, trying to raise a child, and trying to figure out, is this a marriage they want to sustain, or is it time to call it quits? And it was fantastic. I mean, I did not want to keep reading this book. Highly recommend it. I started reading it again when I finished, and now I want to read his other book that
The
came out.
Knicks.
Yes, I
I
always
have
see it
the
at
Knicks.
McKay.
I have it, and I've been wanting to pick it up because it sounds phenomenal, which is something
Yes,
that I never do.
I always see
Um,
the McKay and I never get it, but I'm gonna pick it up.
all right, we can
Yeah,
do
I
that
wonder how
together.
you'd feel about this,
I probably
about
would like it.
wellness. Yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. Definitely a favorite read of
I believe it's a
this year.
Libro FM pick this month too.
Oh yes, it is. That's right. Thank you, Libra, for our advanced listening copies. That's right. That's
Yeah.
correct. Hmm.
Um, so my final one, A Dowry of Blood.
I want to read that.
I think you'd really like it.
I
Also,
want
this
to
is
read it.
the so this was like self-pubbed or indie pubbed
Yeah.
in some way, and then this is from Red Hook, so it's actually on an Orbit list.
Okay.
So I got sent this by the publisher, and then I finally read it. So I was like, well, I have it now. I have to read it. So this actually has some like more content in it. It's got some different scenes that weren't in the original, and it just adds to the story. So this is essentially
Okay.
like this is the feminist Dracula. This is the story of Dracula's wives and girlfriends, and you see how abusive and manipulative Dracula really is. There is a really kind of great. The ending's really good. It is dark. It is brutal. It is hard to read at times. There's a lot of trigger warnings in this because there is a lot of abuse that happens between Dracula and his wives, and in particular his main wife. And it's so good. So you have Constanta, who's his first bride, and she just gets he abuses her so much.
Mm.
And he brings all these other partners into the relationship,
Mm,
and she has her own relationships with other people, and it's so good. It is such a well done book, and I do like this new cover. I know that other people liked the other cover, but I found the other cover
I
kind of,
love that one.
I don't know, I think it's kind of ugly. But I do like this one.
I
I
like
like
that
what they
one
did
a
with it.
lot.
I like that they added more to the book. Um, it's really good. It is sexy and like dark and just sad, and mm, it's a good book. It's a good book.
So
It's
you'll
just
be
a good book.
happy to know. So Solid State Books, they have a handful of book clubs, and one of those is a horror book club.
Mhm.
And they're gonna be reading A Diary of Blood for October. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna read that with them and then go there for the
Do
discussion.
it.
So I will be getting that and reading that, and going to that book club for the first time. So I'm excited.
Good. I'm glad that one, you're
Yeah,
getting out and meeting new people, and two,
yeah,
that you're doing the book club.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
my headphones are aggressively beeping at me.
Oh my.
So we may want to head on to some book recommendations.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. I'm going to recommend All Night Pharmacy by Ruth Madivsky. Thank you, Catapult, for this book. Very short, but wow. This was dark. So it's about two sisters, Rachel and Debbie. Yes, Debbie. And they have the kind of sister relationship that is quite toxic. One of those relationships where there's one very dominant sister, the one that kind of leads the way, and that's Debbie. Debbie kind of is the one that leads the charge. Um, Rachel does everything. No, I don't think her name is Rachel. I can't remember, but the other sister, she kind of follows Debbie's lead, kind of feels pressure by Debbie to do things.
I never know anybody's
Also,
name, Naomi. Don't feel
right,
bad.
I just lost her name. Also, trying to find her own independence in a relationship, but like Debbie not really letting her, that kind of a sister relationship. Well, Debbie and this other sister, they get into, let's just say, a violent altercation. And it's so bad that Debbie just disappears, like
Mm,
without a trace. And so then the other sister is left with trying to figure out how to like get her own life together. She's on drugs. She doesn't really have, her adult life really figured out. So now we go into her journey of trying to get her crap together, dealing with sobriety, finding a solid job and trying to make a life for herself. But there is that lingering thought in the back of her mind, where is Debbie? Is Debbie alive? Is she dead? Should I find her? And she runs across, she gets a resource for a private eye, and she has it for a while, but then she does decide to, let me give this guy a call and see if he can find my sister. And I won't give any more than that because I think that would be a big spoiler, but it is really the journey. And although it's not really spoken about Debbie, um as Rachel's going through her thing, but it is like a journey of these sisters trying to figure out what their lives look like without each other. And the ultimate question of the other sister of, do I find my sister, or, and if she is found, do I meet her? Do I connect with her? Do I regain a relationship with her, or do I just let it go and just continue with life on my own without my sister? So it was a pretty heavy book, but I enjoyed it a great deal. All Night Pharmacy by Ruth. I think Madivsky. I think that's right. Madivsky. I'm wrong. I feel it in my heart.
What's weird is that that cover seems very familiar to me, but everything you said, I don't remember anybody even like pitching that book to me. So why do I remember that cover?
I don't know. Did you see it across TikTok or something? Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry. And this is out now. I think it came out last month. It's out now.
it sounds really interesting.
It really is. Those sister dynamics. They're not always pretty.
I know,
Theirs
so
was real.
glad
Theirs
I
was
have a
really
brother.
ugly. Yeah, theirs was really ugly.
Very glad I have a brother.
Same, same.
So if you saw the two of us trying to move that treadmill this morning,
Uh,
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
it done. Anyway, I don't think I've talked about this here. I think I've just talked about this in my wrap up. But
Oh.
over on my Patreon, we read Wayward by Amelia Hart, and I think this is something that like I think you would really enjoy it, and I think it's really good for this like brief for this episode because it does have like sort of witchy spooky vibes, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
kind of like feminist and does have some trigger warnings in it. So if you care, look them up. I'm not here to tell you that I didn't. It was fine. But it has oh, it's so good. So it follows three different timelines, three different women that all end up kind of being on the same lineage of women. And you see kind of how society just squashes them. Patriarchy just squashes them in three very different ways that are all the same, but like unique to your time period. And there is this hidden sort of magic that is inside of them all that is much more powerful in the beginning and loses some of its strength, but seems to be getting a resurgence. And it's very connected to like nature and Mother Earth. And it's so good. And you care for
Mm.
each one of these women. And what happens to them and you're rooting for them and it's so well done. I had such a good time reading this and um yeah, this was a really good
Mm.
one. So we have 2019 Under the Cover of Darkness, Kate flees London for a ramshackle wayward cottage inherited from a great aunt she barely remembers. um in 1619, Altha is waiting trial for the murder of a local farmer who was stampeded to death by his herd. Um, and then in 1942, as World War II rages, Violet is trapped in her family's grand, crumbling estate, straitjacketed by societal conventions. She longs for the robust education her brother receives and for her mother, long deceased, who was rumored to have gone mad before her death. And these stories all interweave,
Mm.
and it's so good and so heartbreaking at times, and you just so good.
Nice.
Such a good book.
Also, that cover's beautiful. Was that
It
also a
is.
Lero pick for us?
Yes,
Okay. Huh.
that's what I
Okay.
got.
I like it. I like
Excellent.
it a lot. I like it a lot. All right. Well, I hope you all found some of these Rex interesting and add them to your list
Yes, please
of
add them. Tell us
fall
how you think about
reading.
it. And read
Yes.
the historian. If you
Please
take
do.
one thing away from this and
Please
every
do.
video, read the historian.
Listen, people, for those of you who are intimidated by chunky books, don't be. It's just words on pages. You're missing out if you don't read the historian. Just put your intimidation to the side. There's nothing to be afraid of. Enjoy the journey that is the historian. You just will not regret it. And take your
Mm-hmm.
time with it. Don't rush it.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time. It is just so worth it. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for October to read it again. I love it. I love it. Anyway, any last minute things? No?
No,
Let's move
I'm good.
along.
Sorry. Moving
No.
along.
Oh, sorry, we're done. That's it. It's gonna do it for us. Follow us everywhere, TBR Lowdown. Go to our website for all the things, tbrlowdown.com. That's gonna do it for us. We are out of here. Bye.